Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's episode, I'm going to discuss the 4 reasons why I'm buying Pokemon cards in 2021. This is going to be an investment type video, so just a very quick disclaimer. I am not an investment professional. Any advice I give in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and never invest money that you can't afford to lose. Out of the way, the first reason I'm still going to be buying cards in 2021 is because of Pokemon's rise in legitimacy. Anytime you have a new asset class or a new type of investment, you're always going to have pushback. There's always going to be people who are just going to always assume the worst. Look back 2018 when we saw that very first initial Bitcoin pop when it hit $20,000. I read so many articles about how it was the next tulip bubble. Yesterday, I read you guys an article about Pokemon from 2005. They mentioned tulips in that article too. There's always going to be the naysayers. There's always going to be the bubble. And you know what? I've also made videos talking about how Pokemon could be in a bubble. And, I went through the chart. It's possible. But with that said, I don't see it happening in 2021. So I'm not going to sit on the sidelines. And I'm going to let you guys know what my plans are. And my plans are for 2021 to keep buying. And Pokemon gaining legitimacy is huge for the hobby. Legitimacy is big for multiple reasons. Legitimacy I'm talking about involves a lot of different moving parts. You need social influencers to come in and really bring this hobby to the next level and get a lot of eyes on Pokemon. That's not just eyes from inside the hobby, needs to be eyes from outside of the hobby. That involves the news, that involves social media, that involves a lot of different aspects to get eyes on Pokemon that normally would not be focused on Pokemon. Now, in order to gain the legitimacy that I'm describing, you do have to have Pokemon be pulled away from other trading card games. And it's very hard because people that don't understand Pokemon, don't understand the market, don't understand the cards, don't understand the sets, don't understand the demand. They have tons of trouble trying to equate or explain the phenomenon happening in Pokemon without relating it to other trading card games, because that's what they already understand. That's what they already know. So in order for that legitimacy to really continue, it needs to pull away from other trading card games. And I do see that slowly starting to happen already. And the more that continues throughout 2021, it's going to help to grow this hobby exponentially. And, that's the first reason why I am still buying in 2021. Second reason I'm still buying in 2021 is because we are currently living in a very investor-friendly climate. It doesn't matter what you're touching right now. There is just so much money being pumped into different things, different asset class, whether it's a stock market or crypto or Bitcoin or, I've seen people talking about NFTs and everything in between. There's a lot of new people investing a lot of things, but it's being very well received by, especially like our generation. Our generation is very investor savvy, or at least trying. I don't know if it is a lot of people trying to get rich. I'm sure that's part of it. But with that said, I do see with this type of investing through so many different sectors of just not just this hobby, but in general, that we could potentially see some sort of inflation or hyperinflation happen. Hyperinflation on a very small scale in certain markets. And if we do see that, it would be beneficial to have your cards have your money tied up in different assets. And Pokemon cards would act as a way to hedge against hyperinflation. If hyperinflation happens, the dollar amount of your cards is still going to go up because it is a tangible asset. It's not tied to the dollar in any sense. So I think that's very important. And, it's funny too because we came into 2021 and the end of 2020, maybe even the beginning of 2020, with a very different mindset. People came in, going into the pandemic with, I need to save money. There's a potential I could lose my job. You got these stimuluses running through for, the lower income people. You have a lot of these catalysts all starting to line up. Here we are now in March, and we're getting ready to come out of this pandemic. We're not ramping back up to see another wave. We expect things to eventually get back to normal. And I think Pokemon is going to become very mainstream, especially in 2021 after we get out of the pandemic. I know there are a lot of people that think it's going to have the opposite effect because people are no longer going to be at home. They're no longer going to be doing those safer type hobbies. Maybe they will be going out more, spending money on more activities like that. But I don't see that happening like to a large scale that some people do think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be, still tons of interest in Pokemon. And the third reason are the new hobbyists that have came into the Pokemon space. At the very beginning, there is a learning curve. They are just watching pack breaks. They're doing more of like the fun aspect of Pokemon, the fun aspect of learning about the cards. But eventually, they started to dig deeper into the hobby, and that's probably one of the reasons you found this channel, because you started digging a little bit. You got excited. You wanted to become educated. You wanted to become more well-rounded in the hobby. You wanted to become more knowledgeable. So you know what? It's time to take the training wheels off of a lot of these new collectors. And once these new collectors take these training wheels off and they're just going off on their own, they're going to start to figure out how immersive this hobby actually is, and they're going to spread out. And with the day and age and the technology that we live with, it's so easy to gain access to any information that you're looking for in this hobby. People will quickly become very intelligent collectors and investors, and that's going to happen throughout most of 2021. So I'm not going to take a step back just because the market's becoming more intelligent. If anything, I now want to step even harder into the market. The fourth reason that I'm still buying in 2021, and the reason that I'm more excited for anything else, is that vintage sets will benefit from modern sets' strong performance and from their scarcity. As long as people are continuing to get hyped up for all these modern releases, but they're not able to actually pick up the product because of the low print and the scarcity, they will be forced to meet their needs in other areas of this hobby. And the biggest area that's just waiting to be tackled is vintage. There's so much there. There's so much excitement. There's so many good cards. And people that are looking for lower value, high reward cards, vintage is the area. Vintage has the largest amount of cards, first of all, but then it has the largest amount of undervalued cards. And it's a huge opportunity. And once these people start to dive into vintage, which we've already seen start to happen in 2021, the more we see that happen, the more vintage will explode, and it's going to be awesome. And that's the reason that I'm still buying cards in 2021. And I've said in other videos, you can go back, watch those videos, why I think 2021 is still going to be strong. I've given the reasons in the other video. We're not going to give them again in this video. There are risks that come with all these. And believe it or not, the biggest risk to come to this hobby right now, and I know a lot of people are going to say, the biggest risk to happen is Pokemon is going to print sets into oblivion, and they're going to destroy the market, and cards that were once scarce are no longer going to be scarce. The demand's going to be met. People are going to be driven out of the hobby. All your scalpers, all the flippers, they're going to be slowed down a lot, and overall demand in the hobby is going to fall. You know what? If you want to have that argument with me in 2022, let's have that argument. I don't see that being a huge issue for the remainder of 2021. The biggest risk to Pokemon right now is something very different, but something people need to be very aware is happening. 2021 is going to bring a class of people in this hobby that we haven't really discussed on this channel, and we always talk about the collectors, the investors, the flippers, and the scalpers. Well, 2021 will start to really bring in, or at least maybe not bring in, but shed light on the fifth category, which is scammers. Scammers will become a big issue in Pokemon in the very near term. And that's anytime you have, a hobby that sees this type of growth with these type of new investors and new collectors, you will see scamming take place on a very massive level. And it's not just going to be from, fake booster boxes and fake cards. You're going to see scamming hit this hobby in tons of different ways. And we'll talk about those in later videos, but that is something that will start to become a fifth category in this hobby. And I just need to warn you now, it's March 2021. You heard it here first. That will be the new category being brought up. And not only will we see a lot of scammers, we're going to see market manipulation be played out on much higher levels than we have ever seen in the past. Yeah, we've seen market manipulation, and maybe you guys think you know what market manipulation is, but you don't. If you just think card buyouts is the only thing that's going on with market manipulation in Pokemon, you're in for a long haul going forwards. But we'll touch base on that in future videos, and it's stuff I want you guys to be aware of. And I'm probably going to take a lot of heat from a lot of different groups and a lot of different people once I start to educate you guys about, some of the shady things going on in the background. But again, like I said, those are future videos. But with that said, and I've said it in a million different videos before, if you guys have made it this far in this video, you are the best. You are the reason I do these videos. And if you've made it this far in the video and you're still not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Go down below, hit that subscribe button. But also hit that like button, because with the YouTube algorithm, helps me out a lot. Help grow this channel, help allow this content to be available to more people. But other than that, guys, I'll catch you on the next video.